Hey there, YouTube. WhiskeyCactus here, welcoming you back to his Chuunibyou Can't Be Cured. This is episode number 12. Let's go ahead and load this up. And last time, we got to the auditions. So here we go. We are about to audition. So let's do this. Let's not waste any time. The day of the auditions couldn't come fast enough. Before we knew it, we were already being invited to a large hotel chain in Sapporo in order to attend the briefing and formal opening of the auditions. The audition itself doesn't take just a day, though. Truth is, the whole process actually takes 2 weeks. 2 weeks to create a full game from scratch. Which is huge if we consider the fact that it took us half the school year to finish our very first project. Come on, June, you can do it. Don't be nervous. I looked down at my hands. If that hadn't happened, I'm sure I already know what I would be doing right now. I would probably be concentrating really hard in order to get my powers to come out. But now we know better. We don't have powers. The title is a lie. Well, actually, technically it's not. Because the whole point of a Chuunibyou is somebody who doesn't have powers, who thinks they do, whatever. Anyway, but now I know what and who to count on. We can do this, team. Ooh, mood lighting. Ladies and gentlemen, it's the week you've all been waiting for. A huge cheer comes from the crowd. Glancing around, I see that there are almost 500 people in the huge auditorium-like hall of this hotel. Some of them look almost professional.
This is so exciting!
My bay's here, though. We good. Shh, cut it out. Let's listen. Oh, getting told off by I. Hush, you two. The enthusiasm of the host, with his neatly trimmed hair and shiny suit, is only making me feel both nervous and excited. In 2 minutes, we are officially opening the auditions for Hailstorm sponsorship to the annual international game event for the youth. To be honest, this feels just like that day in the auditorium, except 1,000 times bigger and more exciting, so not just like that day. Our first agenda on the list is the discussion of all the rules regarding the audition process. Are you ready? Again, a huge cheer comes from the crowd. At this point, it's practically impossible to even hear anything apart from the host's voice over the microphone and the crowd reacting in unison. I repeat, are you ready? He doesn't need to ask again. The crowd goes wild, screaming their approval at him. This is a fucking rock concert? Jesus. This is some Whitesnake. Much to my surprise and interest, the host chuckles before taking a look back at his notes. The 8th Annual International Game Development for the Youth Competition will be taking place in the latter part of this school year, which is around the middle of next year. It will be held right after the final exams and before the students' summer vacation. Its main goal is not only to... By the way, this music is fucking amazing. Let me just say. Its main goal is not only to seek for the best budding game developers in the world, but to also increase exposure of other youth to game development. This school year, Japan will be joining the competition for the first time in history. We wish to see you there. Through these auditions, Hailstorm is hoping to find the suitable game development groups for their sponsorship. The company will be sponsoring at least 3 teams for 3 different categories in the competitions. For the audition rules, I believe there is someone who can explain it to you much better than I. Is it Isakabur? The crowd starts getting wild again, most likely anticipating who that someone is. I can only chuckle as Taka suddenly starts seeming like he just and stars in his eyes. Hey, translators. Come on, man. He's gonna say the name, isn't he? I just smile. That guess is more likely true than not, anyway. After all, who else could it be but him? I don't remember the voice I gave you. Again, every single time I feel like I do a different voice for Mr. Kabir. Greetings, young, talented, budding developers. Even if I didn't recognize his voice, which I do, I don't know how you could, because I do a different voice every time, dude. I don't even have to look to know that it's Mr. Kabir speaking. The crowd going crazy all of a sudden is clue enough. My, it's a rather pleasant night, isn't it? I'm sorry to have kept you inside on such a lovely night out, but I'm glad to see you here. The crowd laughs. I can't help but chuckle along with him. Oh, really? What? Are we making a joke about how we're all otakus and don't have lives and shit? And, like, what would we be doing with a night out? Partying? Ha 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 ha. No, we're gonna make a fucking video game. 'Cause we're nerds. As usual, Mr. Kabir's humor is spot on and a little insulting. I'll make this quick to give you more time to get to know your allies before the competition starts. I know that in here you are all competitors vying for the chance to get a sponsorship, but out there you are comrades. I hope you don't look at each other as mere competition, but rather as a chance to learn and get another perspective that you haven't been seeing. Who knows, this could be your chance for you to grow further, not only as developers, but also as a person. The crowd has gone silent, but it's obvious that this is more out of awe than anything. Mr. Issa Kabir not only has the intellect to become the CEO of something like Hailstorm, but he also has the charm. With that out of the way, I will now proceed to discuss the rules for the auditions. The whole audition process will take place over a 2-week period, we've been told. Don't worry, we are not going to detain you here that whole time. What we are going to do is to ask you to sign up formally after this. All we need is the list of your names as well as your group name. I assume that you have a group name, don't you? Oh shit, we didn't do that part! I glance around my teammates, my eyes flashing. I'll pretend that all of you said yes. Crowd just chuckles. You will be using that name in order to submit your game at the end of the period. We don't want to see any other identifying piece in your work. We want the auditions to be anonymous, to make it fair for everybody who's in here right now. After we've chosen the project that caught our interest, we will hold an awarding of sorts back in this very place. I hope to see you again in 2 weeks. May you all make it out alive. Ha 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 ha. The crowd starts laughing. With one last grin, Mr. Kabir finishes his little speech. And there you have it, folks, from Mr. Issa Kabir himself. The crowd goes wild again. The sign-up booths are now open. Sign your group up. We've got 3 lines here, so please don't rush. Takahito immediately walks toward one of the quickly forming lines. I'll line up. I just nod at him. Suddenly, I become briefly aware of the fact that somebody is looking at me. Not that it's weird, considering we're in a large function hall after all, but this time it seems dedicated. I look around me, feeling a tad bit uncomfortable. Finally, I glance at the back, only to see Kagura staring straight at me. Fuck him! With a sigh, he starts walking toward me, and I feel the distance between us get smaller and smaller and smaller. I freeze up instantly the moment he stops right in front of me. I don't remember your voice. I heard what happened. From my parents. I'm sorry if I never tried to explain anything to you, June. I was just really pissed at how you seemed so happy without knowing anything at all. My parents agreed on not telling anybody, and they also agreed with me pretending not to know anything. It was an accident after all. Nobody wanted it to happen, but it did. My brother, he and I were pretty close, so you can say what happened then was devastating to me. It still is. He glances down slightly, not a hint of Kagura's normal brutish and arrogant personality evident on his face. I'm sorry if I never bothered finding out the reason. I guess I simply didn't care enough, and that's my mistake, too. That's alright. I was a really horrible human being to you, anyway. I deserve that. No, you don't. You've always been really great at everything you did, Kagura. Your games, they're awesome, and at least that's what I've heard. Kagura raises one eyebrow at me. If there's anything you deserve, it's the admiration people have for your skills. You've got so much going for you. That's why I never understood why you always picked on me despite everything. Now that I think about it, it was pretty silly too, June. I was too caught up in the past to think about the present. Funny how our mind changes, huh? He gives me a little smirk. One day you're out preying on somebody else, and the next you realize that you're wasting your time when you could have been befriending them this whole time. Oh, you're pushing it a little bit, dude. You're pushing it a little fucking bit. Life's too short to be a bully, I guess. Sure is. And life's too short to worry about those things either, so I did my best to just go along with life. Can I ask you a question? What? Did you really think you had superpowers? Is this about the Chuunibyou thing? Yes. After you got back from the accident, that's apparently what you always said. You had superpowers, and even until now. Not until now. But did you really believe it? Will you judge me if I tell you? I mean, you just did. You literally just told him. No, I'm past that. Then yes, I did. I wanted it to be true so bad that I think my mind actually already started believing my lies. I see. You know, if it helped, then I don't think it's a bad thing. I hope we can be acquaintances after this, June. I hope we can. Let's hope for the best. He smiles at me, and I smile back. Here's to a new shot at friendship, then. He raises his hand out for me to shake, and I grip it tightly, nodding my head at him. Sure thing, Kagura. Great. Well, then I gotta get going. Gotta go back to the team. Oh, and June? You're not a Chuunibyou. Come to think of it, you may not have superpowers, but your own self is a lot more powerful than you think. I know. Good luck on the auditions. I give him a little wave as I turn around to my own team. The moment Kagura leaves to go back to his team, Yui immediately bounces straight toward me. Oh, she's gonna be so proud of me, isn't she?
What happened? Did you make up with him? Did he say any more threatening stuff? Did he tell you?
Do I gotta go beat him up again? I put a finger to her lips. Bold move, bro. Jesus. Shushing her up quite effectively. It's fine. She frowns at me, taking my finger away from her lips with her two hands.
But what did you guys talk about?
The auditions. Mostly.
Mostly? What do you mean, mostly?
I just chuckle at her curiosity. Who knows? Both his team and our team can win. That way, we can both be in the national competition as well. Yui pouts at me.
Is it bad if I say that I hope they don't win?
Not really. Why is that?
Because they're bullies, that's why.
I guess so. Still, remember how you punched that bully square in the face? I fucking do. I grin. I know exactly what it feels like to receive a punch like that. A hint of red crosses Yui's cheeks. Don't you think that's enough punishment for him? She sighs.
He deserved that, you know.
Yes, he did.
And admit it. Maybe you did too.
Probably did. I'm guilty.
But man, if we're gonna talk about talent, it'd certainly be a shame if they don't win. Those guys know how to make fine background music.
Ooh, challenging you on your own turf. I raise one eyebrow at her. Ah, so that means you've played some of their games. A faint hint of pink shows across her cheeks.
Not some, just one. And it was really interesting, I'm telling ya.
Oh shit, we better step it up.
Betcha they make darn good games. That's why they've got so many fans.
That's usually how that works. I smile at her childish pout. We're gonna do our best too, so we can have a lot of fans like them. Yui nods her head.
Yeah, but man, I just hope that even if we both win, we're still on a higher level than them.
Still competitive, are we?
Of course we are.
Damn right.
That's the way we roll.
That is the way we roll. Chuckling, I gesture toward the crowd of people nearby. Come on, we better line up at that booth to register.
Yeah, we better. Before Mom and all my brothers find us.
I look back at her in amazement. They're all here?
Yeah, all 6 members of my family. How supportive of them, huh?
Good for you. I grin at her. Any chance I'll be meeting your mom? Ooh. Oh. June is fucking pushing it today, man.
If we win, maybe we can try.
Some motivation right there. The next 2 weeks just felt like a blur. We've never had a project with a deadline this tight, so it was really hard to get everyone to adjust to our new schedule quickly. Day in and day out, we just worked on our project. We did take breaks every now and then, but most of the time we would rather finish working on a scene or a piece of music or art than take a quick break, which could potentially ruin our focus and concentration. Personally, I wasn't able to sleep that much for the duration of the audition. After each asset was completed, it was Taka's job to program everything, while it was my job to make sure that everything was organized. I was also in charge of keeping everybody on the same page and reminding them of milestones and deadlines. Our goal wasn't really to create a masterpiece. Our goal was to finish something that would showcase our skills despite the time limit. And before we knew it, it was already time to judge if we'd completed that goal. I bet we did. Oh, gee, it's time. It's the real auditions now. Oh. Alright. Pressure's on. Ladies and gentlemen! The crowd cheers loudly. I feel like we've done this part already. Unlike the audition opening ceremony, this one is open house, meaning anyone, even those not involved in game development, can come in and join the fun. As a matter of fact, a lot of students from different high schools from all over Sapporo have come here to support their school's own team. This has to be Japan. There is no way this shit would be happening in America. Come on. The teachers will kill them if they found out that those students cut class to watch an awarding ceremony. Can you imagine if a high school in America had a game development team that students from that high school would come to a assembly just to see, like, debut their game? No fucking way, man. No way. For the past 2 weeks, our contestants have worked hard on building something from scratch. Now it's finally time to answer the question that we've all been asking. Who will be deemed worthy to represent Sapporo in the upcoming national competition? The crowd goes wild as they all scream out their favorite teams. This is such bullshit. It's Japan. It's Japan. I can't say that because it's Japan. And you know what? I bet Japan is way more adept at this kind of shit than America ever would be. The loud cheers in the auditorium are almost deafening, but strangely, I don't mind at all. My heart pounding away in my chest drowns out every other noise, after all. Sitting on a line of chairs on stage are a dozen developers from Hailstorm, including CEO Issa Kabir himself. It's impossible to completely be able to read their facial expressions, but they can't hide that they're excited about this as well. Excuse me. That thought comforts me, knowing that even though they're already established in the industry, they still feel a spark of hope when they see the young developers of the future. I hope I can be like them someday. Without further ado, may I now call on Mr. Issa Kabir for the opening remarks and the announcement of winners. Oh dear. Hey, you're getting very close. Mr. Issa Kabir rises from his seat and slowly makes his way to the microphone stand. Even from afar, I feel like there's a peaceful air surrounding him, as though he's quite contented with how things are right now. And I suppose he is. After all, here he is, the founder and CEO of the biggest game development studio in the country, about to announce the names of the lucky young developers that his company would be taking under its wing. If that's not seeing the future laid out before your eyes, then I don't know what is. Greetings to all of you. We have come a long way, you and me. None of us here have the same background. None of us here have the same story to tell. Even though our stories of hardships, struggles, fears, doubts, concerns resonate with each other, none of us here know exactly what the others have gone through just to get here. But at the same time, all of us are here. None of us has come the same way, but all of us now are gathered in the same destination. 3 teams will be called to compete in the national competitions to be held in Tokyo later this year. Hopefully, if they win, they will be representing Japan in the annual International Game Development Competition for the youth. He pauses and smiles warmly at the audience. But know these things. But know these, sure, my dear young developers. No matter which names I call out now, don't let it affect who you are as developers. If I don't call out the name of your team, it doesn't mean that you're a failure. All of us are here today, and all of us have made it. Don't let anything get in the way of your dreams. Keep the fire in your heart burning. The crowd starts clapping loudly, expressing their admiration for the CEO. My own heart is still pounding away in my chest. I won't make you wait any longer. The first team who made it to the cut is Team New Era. I hear some yells behind me, To my surprise, Kagura and his team are now jumping in their seats, thrilled beyond belief. Fuck! Woo! We go, team! We go! The crowd starts clapping. Kagura's whole team starts running toward the stage. Oh, what do you know? Guess the bastard got in. I chuckle at his comment and grin at him. It's pretty obvious that someone still hasn't been able to move on from the past. What can we say? They deserved it anyway. He may be a bastard, but he's a damn talented one. Taka gives me an irritated look, but nevertheless nods in affirmation. Hate to admit it, but you're actually right. Would the leader like to make a little speech? Without waiting for an answer, Mr. Kabir immediately hands the mic over to Kagura. For a split second, Kagura looks alarmed, but his expression quickly gives way to one of confidence. Thank you. We wouldn't have made it this far without our teachers who helped us. Our supporters who never stopped believing in us. A high-pitched chorale of squeals came from somewhere behind us. Okay, game development teams do not have cheerleaders. Get out of here. Get out of here. Right, I forgot that Kagura's all-guy group is pretty popular with the ladies in our school. Okay, can I do high school over again? Please? I clearly made some wrong choices. And to our newfound friends. To my surprise, he suddenly looks straight at me. Newfound friends? Who is this guy kidding? I just smile at Takahito kindly. Definitely not us, Taka. In return, he looks at me with a confused expression on his face. Huh? What do you mean, man? I chuckle, shaking my head. Thank you for keeping us on our toes, not letting us get too complacent. Believe me, we owe a lot to you. Here's to hoping that I see you guys come up on stage too. Kagura nods at me from the stage, and I nod back. The other people are looking at us with curious expressions, but I can only grin. We've sure come a long way, both in our skills as developers and in our maturity as human beings. Thank you for that speech, New Era. That was certainly inspirational. Now, for the next team, we have... I keep my fingers crossed. Please call our name. Please call our name. I've been dreaming of this for so long. Please let it be us. Team Aoi Kokoro. May I now ask the team to join us here. A relatively larger group consisting of 3 girls and 6 guys come up on stage, their fans cheering loudly from somewhere to the right of us. Mr. Kabir smiles warmly as he hands them their certificates. Any messages from the leader? A shy-looking girl steps forward and heads straight to the mic. Mr. Kabir looks at her with an amused expression on his face. I guess the rest of the crowd didn't expect her to be the leader either, because they all start exclaiming out loud. Thank you so much for this. Then she scurries back to her group, much to the amusement of the crowd, who all start clapping for her again. Why, thank you for that insightful message. It was certainly very concise. The crowd laughs good-heartedly, and the girl smiles, blushing as her team members start chiding her. And now, for the last group. I hold my breath. So does everybody else, I'm pretty sure. I'm sure the rest of the teams in this whole auditorium are holding their breaths collectively, too. Before I announce the last team, let me just congratulate all of you once again. Fucking get to it, dude! More clapping and cheers. Did you know that over 50 teams joined this audition? Say the name! If only you knew just how glad I am to see that so many of you are interested in game development after all. I was almost worried about the fate of our country. Oh, Japan, never mind. And now I know I don't have to worry anymore. Our country's game development industry is certainly in good hands. So we have Allstate. He pauses and smiles again as the whole auditorium is filled with deafening cheers and claps. And now, commercial break. I will not keep you waiting any longer. Last team is... I keep my fingers crossed. Suddenly I feel a small, warm hand holding my own. Is it Yui? I bet it's Yui. It's fucking Yui. Looking beside me, I see that it's Yui, who's got a small yet confident smile on her face.
He's gonna say our team name. I can feel it in my bones.
Oh my god. The anticipation, man. It's so fucking thick. I just nod at her as I smile. I don't know how that small smile of hers and her words of encouragement managed to convince me, but they fucking do. I am so fucking hyped. Let's go! I instantly feel all my worries and concerns slowly melting away. What's the fucking name? Like the darkness melting away at the first instance of sun. Squeezing her hand gently, we both wait, with bated breath, for Mr. Kabir's announcement. Team Powers! Oh, that's definitely our team. That's our fucking team. We're Team Powers. I'm a Chuunibyou. We have powers. We're Team Powers. Congratulations! Fuck yes. For a moment, my whole world stops, as though the earth just suddenly ceased to spin. Everything started to go in slow motion. I see Smeeky's hands rise from her sides to her mouth at a snail's pace. I see I let out a sigh of relief, and smile slowly in delight. I see Taka and Yui slowly go up into the air, their mouths open in a scream of triumph. In an instant, everything suddenly goes back to normal. My ears throb at the deafening cheers and claps from all around me. Oh, it's you. Okay, I guess I'll do it. We did it. Yes, we did. We did alright. Yui is jumping next to me, positively beaming.
John, told you we'd make it.
You did tell me. You did tell me. She starts to walk up to the stage, with the four of us tagging right behind her. Oh yeah, you're here. I forgot you were even a character. I hear Miss Megami cheering along with the crowd.
That's my team! My team! Jun, Taka, everyone! You're amazing!
Oh, I see how it is. You just naming the guys. I couldn't help but chuckle at her reaction. I'm happy that we made her proud. To my surprise, I hear another familiar voice in the crowd. Is it Shiro? I bet it's Shiro. She's the only other fucking character in this game.
There he is. Junie!
Hey, Shiro. What up? My not blood-related sister. Expecting to see only Shiro, I turn to her with a smile on my face. However, my mouth falls open at what I see. My mother is standing in the middle of the aisle, still wearing her business suit. She's smiling happily, while dabbing at the sides of her eyes like she had been crying. Beside her is my father, also in his business suit, who's looking at me with the proudest expression I've ever seen in my whole lifetime. I just scored the game-winning touchdown, guys. Oh wait, wrong country. That's our son, June. You did it, kiddo. I stop in my tracks, unable to believe what I'm seeing. My parents, who rarely went to my school events as a kid. My parents, who rarely had any time for me. My parents, who kept me sheltered for so long in fear of hurting me. My parents, who are here now, still in their suits, obviously taking the time out just to watch their son, who might not have even won the competition. My parents, who are here right now to watch me, whether I win or not. And all of a sudden, I realize that it's all that matters. I feel the tears start to well up in my eyes. And I get the strongest urge to just run to them and hug them like I should have done so many years ago. Mom, Dad. My mom dabs again at the side of her eye, before making a shooing movement with her other hand. Go on, darling, go on. We'll be watching you from here, June. I just nod, barely able to keep my tears from falling. We're so proud of you, June. We've always been. My heart feels like it's about to burst from my chest, but I just grin at him. We'll have more time to celebrate later, after all. Finally, my team and I reach the stage. Mr. Kabir gives me a kind-hearted grin as he gestures toward the microphone stand. Holding the microphone away from him, he starts congratulating me, as the rest of my team starts doing handshakes with every other representative of Hailstorm, who hands out the certificates. Why, if it isn't my dear boy. I suppose I don't have to say it again, June. I give him a teasing look. Say what, Mr. Kabir? He shakes his head and leans closer to me. That I never doubted you. Not even once, my boy. I always knew you had it in you. I smile gratefully at him. We've definitely come a long way. I stand in front of the microphone, looking out at the crowd before me. It's impossible to guess when you're in the audience, but when you're here in front, the 2,000 pairs of eyes staring at you look more like stars than anything else. Go on, it's your time to shine. I clear my throat and start my short speech. Ahem. To my school, who let us join the audition. To my newfound friends who motivated us to work on our project that got us here in the first place. To my family who took the time out from their busy schedules just to be here tonight. To my team, who gave me more lessons in life than a classroom could ever have given me. Thank you for everything. And to that person, whose wonderful compositions and sweet melodies have made my life into a song of its own. Thank you, you smooth fucking bastard. Jesus Christ, June. To everyone, thank you for being here. May we all have a nice night. I know, I'm gonna have a nice night. Jesus Christ. The cheers and claps from all around me are deafening, but none of them are as deafening as the sound of my heart pounding as Yui bounces toward me. Yui. She stops right in front of me, an embarrassed pout on her face.
Silly Jun.
What up?
That was awfully cheesy of you.
Hey, whatever. I don't know what you're talking about.
I made your life a song of its own.
Feh. A slight chuckle rises from the audience, and I look around, feeling a little bit embarrassed as well. Are we doing this in public? Okay, cool. To my surprise, Yui suddenly blushes a deep shade of red.
So, do I still gotta tell you that I'm really into you, or can we just skip that part?
I thought we were already past that part. I thought the whole, like, the whole nurse asking if you were my girlfriend and you not denying it was all we needed. Was I wrong? I think you just did. Without waiting for her to say anything, oh, fuck! On stage in front of everybody! I was just kidding. Okay, here we go. Without waiting for her to say anything, I pressed my lips to her own, forgetting everything else around us. Ha! There's a loud gasp from the crowd, followed by thunderous clapping and cheering. As I pull away from her blushing face, I realize that all the people in the auditorium are now doing a standing ovation for us. That's a hell of a way to kick things off, man. Jesus. All except for a line of 5 red-headed boys in the audience who are all looking at us with various degrees of shock on their faces. Ugh. Little brothers, man. Jesus. Even though the auditorium has got to have thousands of visitors, it's impossible to miss those boys. Not when I'm already imagining them all the threats that I would receive after this ceremony. Clapping loudly beside them is a fair, light-haired lady whose large grin can only be matched by the smile of the girl next to me, who looks strangely like her. I guess we get to meet Mom, don't we? Oh, sorry. I forgot that the rest of the world existed for a minute. Well, there you go, folks. There's one thing we can all learn from this night, it's that bravery always gets us somewhere. Ha 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 ha. The crowd just laughs as they continue clapping for us. Mr. Kabir looks back at us and gives us a wink. I couldn't help but chuckle as I put one arm around Huey's waist. Before we end this evening, let us all give another round of applause to all of us here. Hopefully, we all gained something tonight. For some, they gained the opportunity to overcome a bigger challenge. For some, they gained the knowledge to tackle their next adventure in life. And for some, they gained courage. The courage to believe in oneself, and to have the confidence that they can achieve their dreams. Tonight, we've all gained our very own superpowers, don't you think? Oh, I see what you did there, Mr. Kabir. I see what you fucking did there. May we all meet again in the future. As Team Power's brave leader puts it, have a nice night, everyone. Shortly after the awarding ceremony, we received letters indicating our entry to the national competition that will be held in Tokyo later this year. Turns out that Mr. Issa Kabir's been traveling all around the country these past few weeks, visiting different prefectures, and personally overseeing all the awarding ceremonies. That definitely takes a whole lot of dedication, but I'm fairly sure that Mr. Kabir isn't the kind of person who lacks dedication anyway. After all, he did manage to build Hailstorm from the ground up, at the time that game development wasn't as advanced as it is now. Even if it was hard, he strived and did his best to bring Hailstorm to where it is now, at the forefront of Japan's game development industry. If that wasn't dedication, then I don't know what is. Meanwhile, in another part of Sapporo, My parents were so happy to find out that my team won that they decided to arrange an outing for all of us. A sort of retreat before a huge stage in life, one might say. But to be honest, when they told me that they rented a gigantic rest house up in Hokkaido for the whole team to use for 7 straight days, I was really shocked. Don't they know we're gonna bang? They gotta know that, right? We could have stayed in a cabin and that would have been enough. So, to not waste all the rented space, we decided to include Kagura's team in the count, as well as all the Game Development Club advisors. What? No. No, 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 no. June, that is not how you get laid, June. In the end, there was still too much space left over, so we decided to invite a few more people, aside from my own parents and Shiro. Yeah, fuck Shiro. Namely, Yui's What? I guess we're not gonna bang. Alright. Namely, Yui's mother, along with her 5 brothers, who are all extremely psyched about the idea of skiing in the mountains. What are you doing, June? I'm thinking of shipping Shiro to Fuda. That's kind of weird. I'm sorry. No, stop. Just stop. But I don't know. Shiro doesn't seem to be too receptive to the idea, at least. They're roughly around the same height, even though Shiro is nearly 3 years older. We'll see what happens in the trip. Nothing if the whole family's gonna be there.
Sota! Don't touch the ceramics, you might break them!
I smile as I place one hand on Yui's shoulder. We're supposed to be on vacation, Yui. Lay it off on them for a bit.
Ugh, but...
Even your mom's relaxing right now with my parents.
Don't tell me they're really at a spa right now.
We got the whole cabin to ourselves, babe. This mansion actually has its own spa room if you wanted to check it out. Never mind. She makes a face, shaking her head at me, as though the thought disgusted her.
That's one place I can skip for the tour.
Well, I guess we should just leave them alone. Yui gives me a curious look. Let's just say that my parents are expanding one of their companies, and they're pretty interested in giving your mom a spot.
Are you for real?
I nodded her, grinning. I told them that she's really hardworking, and as a matter of fact, she's working 3 jobs at the same time. They seemed really interested. With our luck, she might not need to have 3 jobs after all. That means she'll have a lot more time for you guys.
John...
She glances back at her brothers, who are playing in the doorway before turning to look at me again.
John, thank you so much. You don't understand how much I appreciate it.
Don't mention it. She grins at me, discreetly wiping away some of the tears welling at the side of her eyes.
Got something in my eye.
Uh-huh. I just smile at her in return. As if on cue, fucking cockblock, god damn it. Kagura suddenly walks nearby, looking at the kids in confusion. I can't tell your brothers all apart, Kitamura. How do you even know who to scold when one of them messes up? Yui lets out a dry laugh.
Funny, that's the first thing you thought of, Kagura? Sota, go play up there with your other brothers, will you?
Okay. Will do. Obediently, the 2 kids run away from us, their footsteps making a sound on the snowy grounds. Kagura looks strangely offended. You don't have to send them away.
Don't need you poisoning their thoughts.
Got him. I'll have you know that everyone's getting along with everybody, so we...
Are in no obligation to get along well, too.
I nudge Yui, feeling that she's starting to get a little out of line. She sighs, forcing a smile on her face.
But of course, we do our best to be civil, don't we?
Kagura shoots her a suspicious glare before turning back to me. Girl's pretty psycho, man. Run along now, Kagura. Shaking his head, he walks away without another word. Hostile now, aren't we?
I was just kidding.
Right, you definitely were. Yui laughs, moving closer toward me.
Is it true? Everyone's getting along with everybody else?
Yup, surprisingly.
Well, then I guess we have this place all to ourselves.
Doesn't sound like it. I chuckle, tapping her on the nose with the tip of my finger. You better behave, Miss Kitamura. Yui gives me an innocent grin.
What? I just wanted to play some music.
Uh-huh. She suddenly reaches out behind her and pulls out a guitar. Fuck yes, I knew I picked the right character. I knew I picked the right girl. Which she promptly starts plucking the moment she sits down.
Come on, join me.
Damn right, let me get my guitar.
Let's live life one musical note at
Smiling, I sit down next to her, listening to her play the instrument and sing at the same time. Her music starts filling the place, filling me at the same time with light, happy thoughts. Oh, she's so pretty. Later, when we go out for a ski, her music remains with me. Without me knowing it, it's already in my head, invading my thoughts and driving away all the worries and fears that replacing them with only good memories. Just like her. Being with her, it's definitely not easy, and it's definitely not just a smooth sailing ride. But I know that as long as we've got each other, we can accomplish anything. With or without powers. Leaning closer, I give her a peck on the cheek, letting my lips linger for a while on her soft skin. She smiles, and we both look out into the horizon, the snowy mountains beautifully sparkling from the distance. Soon enough, snowy mountains aren't the only things that will be in our sights. Damn, I thought that was going to be the last line. Fuck. Soon enough. We have to worry about other things, like school projects, college entrance exams, and in the near future, the national competitions, too. But for now, we just stay in this position, enjoying each other's company. Because right now, there's nothing else in this world that we could ever wish for. I gotta stop guessing. I gotta stop fucking guessing. We all want to have powers. Because we think that having powers can make everything seem like a breeze to us. We think that having powers can solve all our problems with the snap of our fingers or the wink of an eye. But no, it doesn't work that way. Powers need to be properly wielded in order to be useful. They're not magic. They can't make everything better in a single instant. Life isn't always easy, but it doesn't have to be hard. And sometimes, in our quest to make everything easy, we forget to appreciate the things that we think are hard. In our quest to reach the top, we forget the things that have been right there from the start, when we were still at the bottom. In our quest to get new things that we think will make us happy, we forget the things that already do. In our quest for... Jesus Christ! In our quest for power, we forget the single most important power that we already have. The power that's within all of us. The power of choice. Everything in life is a choice. Careful. Careful. No. I get your point, but... Okay. To decide for ourselves, to live life to the fullest. A rich kid would say that, wouldn't he? And in the end, that's the only thing that matters. Well, guys, if I'm not mistaken, I think we got the good route, or the good ending for the Yui route. So there we have it. Oh, hi. Yep, there it is. Well, that, seems to be the end of his Chuunibyou Can't Be Cured. Now, obviously, there's the I route, there's the Sumiki route, there's probably a Shiro route, and I would guess there's even a Megumi route. I'm not gonna do any of those on the channel, because it just doesn't really seem necessary. I would definitely advise, if you want to see those, to go onto Steam and pick it up for yourself. It was not that expensive. It's definitely worth giving a go. I liked it. It was really cute. It was definitely a fun story. I really kind of wish... I mean, I like that the Chuunibyou thing kind of came into effect a little bit later. That was cool, but I kind of felt like it was shoehorned in there a little bit. I don't know. It didn't seem like it mattered that much to the story. Given that it's in the title, I kind of would have liked to see it be more of a cornerstone thing. But as a dating sim, like as like a, you know, general like visual novel with different routes and all that, it was fun. It was definitely an enjoyable story. As far as like, I don't know, it kind of seemed unfinished. And I think that what made me think that really is the voice acting. Only 2 characters had consistent voice acting. One of them had mostly consistent voice acting, and some of them had barely any, but occasionally had lines. And it just seemed so inconsistent and weird, and I'm really not sure why it was released without getting that cleaned up. But that aside, Really, the only other complaint I have is the translation was kind of shoddy. There's definitely some notable problems with the translation. But that just is what it is. I understood the story. That's really all that matters. The art and the music were fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. The art is really, really good. The music is amazing. The music is easily the best part of the game. Oh, jeez. I kind of want to play more of these routes. I'm not going to lie. I'll do that on my own time. I'll definitely do that on my own time. But yeah, it was a good game. It's definitely a nice story. Wasn't too long. I didn't get sick of it. It was definitely a game experience that was the right length for the story, I think. It was definitely the right length for the story. And I liked how easy it was to kind of pick the route that I wanted. It wasn't really like random choices that were made that ultimately affected things. It was very clear how to get what you wanted out of it. And I like that. Going in blind anyway, I like that. So, we still got some credits playing with this very, very nice song. Tapestry. Silver Fox had a cameo. Good for Silver Fox, I guess. Really just kind of waiting to see if there's going to be like a post-credits scene. Is this a Marvel movie? I don't know. Tamiya Kaguya is the game developer. I don't know if that's a company or if that's a person. But that is the game developer. That's what's credited as the developer. Copyright 2017, there we go. Alright. Where is it going to spit us out? We're going to go back to the title screen, and we are back on the title screen. Alright, well, I think that about does it for this series, guys. So thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, I'm going to have to... No, I need to... I'm just going to load this up again just so I don't have all that blasting music. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the series, please be sure to leave a like and a comment down below, and make sure you are subscribed for whatever I decide to do next. I don't even know what it's going to be, guys. I don't know what's going to replace this. Actually, I think I might. I think I might know. And I'm trying to think if any videos that I've posted up at this point have announced it at all. So why not? I will announce it now. It's going to be Perfect Dark, which is very different from his Chuunibyou Can't Be Cured. It is a first-person shooter for the Nintendo 64 made by Rare. Very similar. I've already started recording it. It's similar to Jet Force Gemini in some respects. Definitely in the graphics department and in like the music department and like all that. But it's really the spiritual successor to GoldenEye. And so far it's been fairly interesting. I'm not very good at it. But that will be replacing his Chuunibyou Can't Be Cured on Wednesdays. So yes, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you're subscribed for whatever else comes next. And if you want to watch Perfect Dark, by all means, I can't wait for it. It's going to be fun. Have a whole bunch of other stuff going on at this time now. What do we got? We got Animal Crossing. We got Zelda Master Quest, Ocarina of Time Master Quest. We got Tales of Exilia, which is just ending. And we got Tales of Exilia 2 coming up. So there's a whole bunch of cool things. So I hope you stick around for at least one of those. And I will see you in whatever you decide to watch next on this channel. So thank you. I hope you had a good time. I know I did. I will see you next time. Goodbye.